Welcome to the Realness Required podcast. My name is Waldy.
And I'm Erikka.
And on today's episode, what are we talking about, Erikka?
We're going to be talking about intuition.
Okay, so first thing that comes to mind for me when I think intuition is getting a sixth sense. Like, it's a feeling, maybe you don't know where it comes from, but something's coming through.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say that for me, it is a feeling. It's like a gut feeling, one that I know is true. It feels honest or it feels right. And so it almost is like, is somebody trying to tell me something? Mm-hmm. Is this what I need to do? And so that is what intuition is to me.
If I were to do my best to define intuition, I would say intuition would be certainly a feeling. It's a feeling that you don't know where it's coming from.
Correct.
Necessarily, but you cannot deny it either. It's like, I'm supposed to go talk to that person, or I'm supposed to go, It's a hard one to pin down as far as definitions go. How would you define it?
You can get a feeling like, I know something is going on, or I know this person is not the best person for me. Or like, for instance, when I moved here, I was very set on working out 3 times a week. We even talked about this. And I said, I'm not going to be doing a bunch of workouts. I'm not going to be living in the gym. I'm not going to be doing that stuff. So I'm only going to go 3 times a week. And then I said, Mondays is out because I'm busy on Mondays, and I picked my days, and I did all of this. And I went through for months. Nothing happened. I was complaining about it. We talked about it. And I'm like, I'm not losing weight. I'm not getting the results I want. So I changed my eating. I fast. I do this. I do that. Nothing was helping. And one day, voice says, you need to go to the gym another day. And I felt that I needed to go to the gym another day. So I was like, okay, Erikka, you said you were only going 3 times a week. But going 4 times a week is not going to kill you. It's not going to do anything but make things better.
Sure, it's another hour.
Correct. So, and what are you really doing anyway? You can afford an hour.
Oh, now why would you call that intuition? Like, because someone might say, well, you ought to be doing that anyway. So how do you know that that's intuition versus like, that's just good for you to do? Like a thought.
Because intuition to me is something that gets you to the truth quicker. Okay. If you follow your intuition, you're going to get to the truth quickly.
So what would the truth be there?
The truth for me is, to get the result that you want, you have to go to the gym more. Okay. I didn't know this. Again, I was changing my eating habits. Because I didn't want to go to the gym more. I wanted to keep doing what I was doing, go 3 times a week, because that's what I set in my mind to do.
Like, maybe I can do calorie restriction.
Correct.
Maybe I can do this. Like, you were trying to go about it other ways to get the result that you want.
Correct.
So, but you had this feeling, this gut feeling that said, you need to go to the gym.
Correct.
Okay.
And so I had to talk myself like, girl, what's stopping you from going to the gym? So I'm like, okay. So I called you. We talked about it. I was like, Waldy, I think I want to go to the gym another day. So I did that. Then I would say maybe a month later, and this wasn't me complaining. This wasn't me, saying, oh my goodness, why am I not getting the result? Something said, you need to go another day.
So a 5th day.
So a 5th day. Mm-hmm. And I said, what is wrong with going to the gym Monday through Friday? I go to work Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm just going to incorporate it into my daily routine, and I'm going to go Monday through Friday.
And at that point, it was easier because you had already added the 4th day.
Correct.
Even if you were reluctant at first, you ended up adding that 4th day knowing that intuitively that came through. Nothing terrible happened.
I didn't die.
Integrate that pretty easily. So when you had that intuition or that gut feeling that said go the 5th day,
yes,
was there less reluctance or hesitation?
It wasn't, because I had been doing the work. I've, said that I'm going to start following my intuition, and I'm going to follow it quickly. So when that second time came around and it said you need to go a 5th day, I automatically just started going the 5th day. Okay. And then I started getting the result I wanted.
Which was?
It came very quickly. Losing weight.
Okay.
I was toner. Like, I get all kind of compliments now. People know oh, you work out? You know, that kind of thing. That's not really what I was looking for. I was wanting it more so for myself, but I'm getting the confirmation through other people.
Sure.
Because they see the difference.
Sure.
And so now I got the result that I wanted, but let's say I didn't follow my intuition. Let's say I didn't add a 4th day or 5th day. Then I would have still, oh my goodness, why can't I lose weight? And then I would have been trying all of these diets.
And you had tried it. You
Correct.
tried those things, and those things weren't working. So
Correct.
Now, when the 4th day gut feeling came in, at what point after you started working out did that come in? Like, if you started working out when you got here, so let's just say at the beginning of the year, how long after that was like, oh, the 4th day, you need to add?
Oh, it was a few months, because remember, I had tried to say, I am not going to the gym 4 and 5 days. Because I was thinking in my mind, I don't want to be one of those people that live in the gym. I just did not want that. Whatever was in me was against that for whatever reason.
That's interesting, and maybe a whole different conversation, like that strong feeling.
Yeah.
Like, why was there that strong feeling to begin with?
That was
might be
probably
something.
in my head. You know,
Sure.
that was probably like, oh, they don't have nothing else to do. They be in the gym all day. Which that's probably not true. They just want to take care of themselves, or they're looking for a certain result and they know you got to go to the gym a certain, number of times to get that.
Yeah.
But with me not really being a person that was in the gym consistently, I just figured, hey, if you just work out a few times a week, that's good enough. Because I didn't have a car when I first got here, so I walked everywhere. So I'm thinking, oh, I got the cardio in, and if I go to the gym 3 times a week, that is enough. Obviously, it wasn't. So if I didn't follow my intuition, then I would still be struggling. I would probably end up giving up on the gym because it wouldn't be doing what I wanted it to do, because that's what most people do. When all you got to do is say, okay, the 4th day, it's not going to kill me. I got a feeling that I need to do it. Let's just do that. 5th day. And that came very quickly, adding the 5th day. That was within a month.
After you added the 4th.
Yes. And then it was like, just add the 5th day. So I did. And then I started getting the result that I wanted.
Okay.
So
And how long
again-
had that been, would you say, like, since you started?
Maybe 3 weeks later, I was like, Waldy, I see a difference.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think you commented like on my butt. You was like, friend,
Right.
you getting a butt, because do
Yes.
my butt exercises, when I go. So, I started, like I said, I started getting the results. So that is getting to the truth quicker.
And what I think is so interesting about that is there was information coming in that said, okay, you need to add this 5th day, the 4th day, and then the 5th day. And I think at some point, having watched you go on this fitness journey a bit, I think originally when you got here, you had this idea of the result that you wanted. And at some point, you started to let go of that idea that was more aesthetic. I think you had come into your fitness routine at the start of you moving here with, I want to look like this and I want to lose this amount of weight. And I think by the time you followed your intuition the 4th day and the 5th day, the goal that you were setting for yourself had changed. I think you were more focused on your wellness and overall health and fitness than you were about looking a certain way. You ended up looking the way that you wanted to because you weren't so set on that being the result. Your goal became like, it's as if it shifted into a more holistic, like, wellness and not just, I want to look cute. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it could have been, but
that ended up happening.
Right.
It's kind of like me. When I started going to the gym last year, after having been out of the gym for years, I went with the idea of, I need to prioritize myself and my health, because that's putting myself first. That's how you show yourself that you care about yourself. So there was really no, I want to look like this or I want to have this body type. But I ended up getting confirmation from a lot of people and looking a certain way, getting a lot of compliments as a byproduct of putting that holistic, energetic wellness first.
yeah. So you didn't go into it with I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to look this way.
Correct.
You went into it more so, I want to take care of my body, and then the result came anyway.
Yes.
How you want it to look, how you want it to feel, all of that came with just going into it that way. And maybe that, of course, was in my mind, I want to lose a certain amount of weight and I want to look a certain way. But still, I was trying to get the result with just 3 days. And it was not going to work. And then I would have been killing myself trying to figure out all the other things, like the changing my eating habits or doing this or doing that. And then eventually I may have just given up and been like, well, I don't look the way that I want to look. This dieting thing is, just not working for me. And then I definitely didn't want to do that, but that could have been what happened if I didn't know what following your intuition means.
And in that case, I think it's a great example of how your intuition was definitely challenging your comfort zone. Your intuition was like, girl, you have to go to the gym an extra day. Like, that's what would be best for you. And you're like, I don't want to add another day. So I think the point being, your intuition isn't going to likely allow you to remain comfortable. It's not going to allow you to remain in whatever you're doing, because your intuition is leading you to a greater potential, a greater outcome. It's almost like your intuition's coming from like a higher self, or you could say higher self, spirit, universe that knows better than you know.
Well, it's going to keep creeping in. Like, you're going to keep hearing it in the back of your mind.
You can't avoid it.
Well, people ignore it.
I mean,
they ignore it all the time.
Yeah.
So, so either you're just going to keep ignoring it and not getting the result, or you're just going to finally say, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you're going to see the result that came from you following your intuition. It's just that simple.
Right.
But again, if you ignore it, then of course you're not going to get the result. And that voice is still not going to go away. That's those same people that say every January 1st of the year, I'm going to start working out. And then they don't. So that's lying to yourself.
Well, I think it goes back to so many are focused. The reason why it doesn't stick is because you are focused on the end result. It's not about where you're trying to get to. It's about making the commitment to be there every day. Mm-hmm. And why are you there? You're there because that's prioritizing you, because you deserve to take care of yourself. If you're going into it, well, I want to look like a supermodel and I want to look like this and be trim and have a big butt. For what reason? Like, what's your intention behind that? Are you trying to attract somebody? And what if you don't attract that person? Is that going to diminish your sense of self, your sense of self-worth? I think the best way for that to stick, and the reason why a lot of those people fall off, and it's kind of a known thing, like those people start out at the gym in January and by February, girl, they gone.
Yes.
The reason why it doesn't stick is because you want this quick result. You want to go from looking like this to being a supermodel, when it's really like, if your goal was, I'm showing up every day to take care of myself and I'm a work in progress, you're not focused on looking like the supermodel. You're focused on the showing up every day.
Yeah.
That's more likely to get the result that you want, because it shows a daily commitment to yourself, than being like, I'm trying to reach that goal. Because you're setting yourself up for failure because your expectations are based on external validation, not like internal worth and sense of value. Again, you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, why are you worried about looking like that when you can't even get to the gym on a regular basis?
Correct. Correct. And who is that for? Is it because you're trying to attract somebody, or is it for you to feel better? And with me going to the gym, it was for me to feel better. Yeah, I still wanted to look a certain way, and I still wanted, a weight result, but it was still for me. It wasn't because I want to attract this person, or I want this attention, or I want that. So I feel like I was going into it with the right intention. It's just that I was wanting it without putting the work in, because the 3 days just wasn't enough work, period. And so therefore it was, okay, you need to go another day. My intuition never said anything about me eating differently, because I wasn't eating trash anyway. I usually, only ate one meal a day, maybe two.
And how would intuition show up when it comes to eating differently? I would say, girl, you really don't need to eat
correct.
That.
Like you don't need, correct. Like you don't need that. Like,
but people wouldn't realize that that's intuition.
Oh yeah, it's intuition. I'm telling you that one thing that happened to me, and this is how I know intuition is real. It was something about McDonald's. And I think I shared this story with you. I would go there every morning and I would get their coffee. And I would hear, you don't need that coffee. I would hear that at first. And I was like, you don't need to be going to McDonald's to get their coffee. And I'm like, but I really like their coffee. And I was lazy, didn't want to make it at home, didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to, it was right next to my job. I wanted to go to McDonald's, get coffee, go straight to work. And one day I was really convicted by it. Like, I know this was God. He was like, don't drink that coffee. And I knew it was like, I shouldn't even drink McDonald's coffee anymore.
Because you were,
period.
that intuition had already come through.
It had already come through.
Like,
so I knew
for weeks.
So I knew when that voice came through, it was like, don't even take a sip. But I had already ordered it. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I will not drink this coffee anymore after today. So this is not me following intuition right away. This is not me even following the voice right away. God. So I'm like, after today, not gonna drink it anymore. Didn't drink any while I was in the car because I wanted to get to work. Maybe I was running late or something. I don't know. But I got to work. I'm getting out of the car. I only have my laptop bag, my purse, which is on the same arm, and then the cup in my other hand. So I didn't have a lot of stuff. Get out of the car, and the coffee falls directly out of my hand on the ground. And I've never been back to get McDonald's coffee ever again.
And it wasn't
this was years ago.
And it wasn't a matter of, well, why? Why shouldn't I drink it?
Correct.
You're not asking why. So I
didn't.
think it's interesting that the intuition comes through, like, for weeks or however long you knew, like, there's something about this. I shouldn't drink this. Like,
Yeah.
And then God's voice came in, said, don't drink this. And you were like, well, just this last time.
Yeah, after today.
The reason I bring up that you didn't ask why necessarily when the intuition was coming through is because I think a lot of people do question their intuition. And I think it's because they don't know the difference between intuition coming in or just thoughts coming in. Like, it's hard for them to decipher the difference. It's hard for them to decipher what's a thought, what's intuition, especially people who run kind of overly anxious or have a lot of reeling thoughts, overthinkers. I think, to your point, the difference with intuition is there's a feeling attached to it.
For me, and I don't know if that is that for everyone, I would think that it is because everyone has intuition. You just have to know what it is, and then you have to follow it. And once you get used to following it regularly and immediately, if you can, immediately, then you're going to get better at it.
Because it's like a muscle.
Correct. You're going to get better at it, and you're going to see that everything works out when you follow your intuition. When you don't follow your intuition, that's when you have hell in your life. That's when you have chaos. That's when you have that.
An example that comes to mind is knowing that this person, maybe that you're in a relationship with, that it's really run its course, that the time is up here, and remaining in that relationship is now detrimental to you and maybe damaging to you, and not following that intuition. And I think what usually happens is, let's say months down the road, something happens and you're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen, when you may not have known what exactly was going to cause your relationship to be dismantled. However, you had intuition enough to know that this had run its course.
And so if you had acted on it then, you would have come to the truth quicker. You would have ended the relationship. You could have started working on yourself, and you would have been in a better place 6 months from now.
And what prevents people from acting when their intuition comes through is because they don't like change.
They want to be comfortable. Or it could be the other person. They want to spare the other person's feelings. They don't want to hurt them. It's not about them.
Right.
It's about you. You can only control you and your life. This is your life. You have control over your life. And if you want your life to be better, you can't worry about someone else and what they're going through, or what they will go through once you end the relationship. If it's time to end a relationship and you know it, you should just do that. The person will get over it, and then you'll be better for it. And you can work on yourself and get where you need to get quicker.
Right. Because intuition is always serving you in a positive way.
It is.
Your intuition is always supporting the best version of yourself, your life, etc.
Correct.
And I think that In that scenario, oftentimes people stay put, don't follow their intuition, like you said, because they're focused on how the other person might be impacted if they were to make that change abruptly, so to speak. When in reality, I think people don't know, or I don't think people are well equipped to handle situations based on their intuition. So, for example, that intuition comes through, you know that this relationship has run its course, and let's say you are ready to end it. You're like, well, how do I go about that to mitigate as much harm as possible or mitigate the emotionality of it all? I personally, in my life, just in this last year, intuition has come in that relationships, friendships had run their course. And for me, the best way to handle that is to tell someone, whether that's text, whether that's a phone call or in person, my intuition is saying that this has run its course. So at this time, I thank you for the time that we've shared together, and we're taking separate paths. And people don't know that they can say that. That's literally what it is. Your intuition came through that this relationship expired, and now you're taking separate paths. But you're also acknowledging that appreciate the time that we've had. Clearly, you were in my life for a reason or for a period or a season, however, whatever you want to say. But if you know on the inside that it's run its course, don't question it. It has run its course.
Yes.
You intuitively got that information, then it has. And I think people should feel comfortable saying that. My intuition is telling me that this relationship has run its course. So from here, we take separate paths, and I wish you the best.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That is very easy. That is very grown as well. Me, in the past, I've done that, but I have not taken the grown-up approach. I just stopped contacting the person. And I had a very strong feeling. I had already had intuition that this person is no longer for you. You cannot be friends with this person. But I did feel bad for the person. I wasn't thinking about me. Again, this was a long time ago, before I started doing the work, before I started putting me first. And I was thinking about the other person. Well, they don't have anyone else. I am their only friend, But that was their own problem, that they had alienated everyone else out of their life as well. But I just had that thought that this is not a person that I wanted to be friends with. And then it was something that happened when we were on vacation. And I'm like, I know, like just a gut-wrenching feeling. And I was like, I know that I can no longer be friends with this person. I can't even believe I was friends with a person like this. Like, I was like questioning myself. So as soon as I got back home, never contacted her again, ever. Never saw her again, never spoke to her again. Probably wasn't the best way to handle it, but I still had to follow my intuition. I still knew that that was the right thing to do. Probably should have had a conversation, or maybe sent a text and said, I appreciate the friendship that we did have, but we can no longer be friends. I do need to move on at this point in my life.
And I think why people are reluctant to have the conversation, obviously you were young, so you handled it the best way you knew how to handle it at the time, without causing yourself too much stress or back and forth with this person that you really just wanted to be done with. Mm-hmm. People don't want to have the conversation or address the person directly as far as cutting things off or going separate ways, because I believe people think that that person is going to feel entitled to a response or entitled to an explanation. They're not entitled to an explanation. Honestly, the way I see it, intuition is the explanation, period. So that's why I would choose to say, my intuition is telling me that this is where we take separate paths. That is the explanation. No more explanation is necessary. And for anyone to request more than that, then you made the right decision, because this person is doing too much and is asking a lot of you. But this person is that needy and girl, no, your ego wants an explanation, because your ego is wants to know, what did I do wrong so I can fix it? When it's really just, girl, I'm getting some gut info that you are not for me any longer.
Correct. So you can't do anything about it.
Correct.
Yeah. So there is no fixing it. Actually, it's just that we need to separate. And when you're saying that most people may not go about it because they don't want to have to explain, I think they just want to avoid the confrontation altogether, because the intuition is coming to them. It hasn't come to the other person. It may not have come to the other person. So they're looking at it like, well, what did I do? Or why can't we be friends? Or I didn't even do anything to you. When it may not be about that. This person may be about to do something to you. They may not even know it. And you're saving yourself that heartache by listening to your intuition. You're saving yourself that whatever's going to come from what that person may do down the line, you're saving yourself from that. So by following your intuition, texting, calling, whatever it is that you need to do in that friendship, in that relationship, that is going to be the best for you by following your intuition as quickly as possible, not delaying. I do believe that 100%.
So intuition serves to support the best version of you, or get you on whatever life path, get you there as quickly as possible so you can be doing what you need to be doing in your life. That's what it sounds like. Like, you need to be healthy, Erikka? Let's add some days because you need to prioritize your wellness.
Yes.
If it's, hey, you need to let this person go, you need to end this friendship, that information would only come through if there were better things coming for you. But you got to make room for that.
Yes.
So your intuition is saying, hey, make room for what's coming.
You may look at it as, okay, this is my only friend, so I don't want to cut ties with this person. But like you said, cut ties with that person, you're making room for that new friend to come into play. And that friend may be a better friend to you than this other person was. This friend may help you to grow in some way. You know, you and this person may be meant to do something in the future together.
It's like your intuition is letting you know this is for you, this is not for you, but it's all in support of whatever kind of stream or path you're on. That's why I know for me, when intuition has come through, it has always felt supportive. It has never, like, intuition is never being used for like bad or evil kind of reasons.
Correct. It is always for the good. It is always to better yourself. It is just based on how quickly you're trying to get there. And if you keep ignoring your intuition, things are going to happen that could have been avoided if you would have just followed it to begin with. I feel like everyone knows what that intuition is. They just don't use it. Everyone has it. Everyone has the capability of using it properly. You just need to follow it. And you need to make a habit of following it. As soon as it comes in.
Instead of shooing it away.
Correct. Instead of shooing it away, saying, oh, well, I don't think that's what that is. Or I need some more information first. I don't want to act yet. I need some more information on this because I don't think that's what that is. When you know that that's what it is. Or I don't want to hurt that person. They don't have anybody else. I'm the only person that they have.
But again, in that scenario, I think to myself, how much ego do you clearly have to think that you are this person's savior, that's remaining in their life? They're going to have no one else. In the same way that you getting rid of someone, you're allowing room for someone to come in. By you honoring your intuition and removing yourself from that person's life, that person might be able to get someone who is a better fit for them.
Correct.
And it's not you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting that intuition.
Correct. Yes. And so if people just recognize that and follow it quickly, then they would see that everything is going to work out. Everything is going to be okay. Actually, this turned out better. So when you see that the first time, then you're like, okay, I need to act on my intuition pretty quick next time.
And girl, no one is surprised. When things happen, everyone is like, I knew that would happen. You know what I mean? When things happen in relationships or friendships or like things kind of, relationships fall apart or dismantle. And whether it's how it happens or the fact that it happens at all, people usually saw it coming. That's
Yeah.
your intuition. Why did you see it coming?
Correct. So hopefully, people start to recognize their intuition and acting on it immediately versus waiting.
And why is it so important to act on it when it happens versus the waiting? Because I think a lot of people will wait.
I feel like if you wait, you are prolonging the inevitable. You're just prolonging it. That's really all you're doing. Just like if you got the information intuitively that your boyfriend was cheating and you didn't break up with him. Okay, now you find out 6 months down the line that he really was cheating. And then now it may be a baby involved now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or you may have caught something.
Yeah.
Oh, and now you got to deal with a disease because your boyfriend was cheating when you could have avoided all of that. Or you may roll up on this girl, y'all fight. Do you get what I'm saying? Like just stuff that's toxic, stuff that could have been avoided. Mm-hmm. If you would have just listened to your intuition, know that this person is cheating. Now, if you have to have proof and you have to do all of that, that's a personal thing. I don't necessarily have to have proof. When I get my intuition in, I just act on it. Some people may need proof.
Because you're trusting that that information is coming from higher power, God, higher self, something. And it's always only supported you. So there's no reason not to follow it immediately.
Correct. There's no reason not to. And it's not like those type of thoughts just come up in my mind anyway. They don't. I've been married before. And so it just didn't come up in my mind. You would see the signs. You will know. Person is staying out late. Person is, taking phone calls and walking off. Or a person is, you can figure it out.
What if somebody says, well, what if I'm just paranoid?
Someone will say that. People have said that. People are going to continue to say that. But again, we need those 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 people that's going to say, I'm going to listen to my intuition. I am going to act on it right away. I know something is going on. I know he's cheating. Mm-hmm. So if that's what you're going to do, let's go ahead and take care of that now. And let's go ahead and, move on from that.
I mean, I look at intuition kind of like a GPS. The intuition comes in, it's basically like a GPS saying, turn left here, right? And you thinking you know where you're going, or like, no, I'm not going to turn left here. I'm actually going to go straight.
Yeah.
So to me, not listening to your intuition is deciding to go a different direction than you're being told to go. It doesn't mean that you won't continue to get intuitive information or gut feelings to reroute you back to where you need to be going. Mm-hmm. But the sooner you follow those directions, the sooner you get where you need to be going.
Correct.
You can still decide not to follow your intuition and take a right here when you're supposed to take a left, or keep on not following the GPS. Mm-hmm. Your intuition's still going to come through to support you. It's just a matter of how far off course are you willing to get to your point? How much how many more toxic situations are you going to put yourself through, possibly as a result of not following this intuition? How much worse could this possibly get because you refuse to listen? And I think that is how that happens. Oh, Erikka, you don't want to listen? Okay, let's try again. Oh, now you don't want to listen? Okay, let's try again. It's like it has to get louder. That intuitive gut feeling has to get louder for you to wake up. Girl, you're going the wrong way.
Yes.
Get over here.
Yes.
So it's like the longer you go not following it, the more dramatic events can be to wake you up to follow the intuition. That was there from day one.
Correct. And why go through all of that? I don't be wanting to go through all of that drama. I don't want to go through all of that. So I've lived and I've learned, and I'm not doing all of that. And I've known from very early in life that I don't like drama. I want things drama free. I don't like toxicity. I'm not going to be involved in that. So I'm just going to go ahead and follow my intuition and do what I got to do. No, it has not been as quick, but it hasn't been no months. It hasn't been no years. I can tell you that.
A lot of people will like try to justify a person and say, oh no, like it's not like that. Oh no, like again, try to shoo their intuition away.
Yeah.
And what that reflects is a lack of trust that the intuitive information that you're getting is supporting you. And you don't trust that. That's why like your mind, your brain is like, no, they couldn't be doing that.
Yeah, they're thinking it's just a thought they had.
Yes.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily get that. The thoughts that I get come from things that have happened, or something that I just watched, or something I just saw on my phone, or a friend that I've just seen. If something comes into my mind that wasn't on my mind, hasn't been on my mind, I haven't even thought of that in days or months or whatever. When that comes in, that's your intuition. There is no way I thought about McDonald's coffee. I'm thinking about drinking it, but there's no way that I'm thinking about not drinking it. And it just comes in my mind, you shouldn't drink that.
Right.
Didn't say coffee. It just said you shouldn't drink coffee from here. And so that is my intuition. Because what in the world would even make me think of that? Because I love coffee. So, so you got to think about when you're getting the information too. If it's just coming in, nothing has happened to even make you think of that, and it's just coming out of the blue, that's your intuition telling you something.
And like you said, a thought, or like we've already discussed, a thought doesn't have a feeling associated with it. So like a thought could come in like, oh, I need to buy milk. Yeah. Like it's going to come through as like, oh, I remember I have to do that thing.
Yes.
Whereas intuition is coming with a feeling. The reason why it's coming through with a feeling is because there's this inherent knowing that this is going to be uncomfortable if you follow this intuition. It's like, it's kind of baked in that by acting on this intuition, it will put you outside your comfort zone. A thought that's coming in, I have to go get milk, is not doing that.
Or I have to go to the store.
Intuition is not serving your comfort. So it's coming in with a, you're not going to like this, but this is what's really going on.
Correct.
And the reason why you're not going to like it is because you have to do something about it. And it's beyond your comfort zone. But that is for your highest good.
Correct.
Actually.
Yeah. The adding the extra day at the gym. I didn't want to do it, but I knew that's what I needed to do. And I acted on my intuition. So exactly. It's that where you're going to have to do some work. That is when intuition is involved. That where you're going to have to cut somebody off. That when you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and do something about your life. That is intuition.
Intuition comes through to support your highest good. And by following it, acting on the intuitive information coming through, it sets you on that course. So if that's the mechanism of intuition, get comfortable in that process of following it sooner rather than later, because again, don't cause more trouble for yourself if you don't have to.
Honey, I know I'm not. I know
I'm
not.
definitely not.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not doing the drama. I'm not doing the toxic energy. I'm not doing it.
And it could come in so many different ways. It could be about fitness. It could be having a hard conversation or telling someone how you feel. It could be ending a friendship. How the intuitive information is coming through is going to be unique to each of us. So I can't speak to what's coming through for you. You're on a different path of harmony and authenticity than I am. Yours looks a little different, but it's all serving the same purpose, which is to put us on the highest path where we can achieve our greatest potential, I think.
Yes, I agree.
So that's intuition.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we don't have a tradition yet.
No.
This is a brand new podcast. We don't have any traditions as far as how we end the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. We appreciate your support and your curiosity. We hope you come back, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.